guys, today is another day down here on the channel, and what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be finishing up the power steering that was in our last video, and we're going to be putting on the bung for the valve cover up there, putting on the intercooler piping again, getting that all situated. I'm going to bring my knuckles to my friend Jeff. We're going to cut these and weld these ones because I want even more angle, and I want to see how far I can just like go with this. So we're going to cut these ones. On the last set, I only cut 3/4 of an inch out of the knuckle. This time I think I'm going to cut a full inch, maybe 1 inch and 1/8 or something like that out of these, just to see how far I could actually go with these. And then this is the header for Chris. So Jeff is also going to help me with this. We're going to weld a bolt onto here. We're going to heat this up with a torch, and I'm going to try to slowly pull it back out so that I can have Jeff weld it back together for me here, because this header is not cheap and I want it all fixed up. So we're going to do these two things along in the video with that. And then tomorrow I have to go to Make a Hose and get my line here redone for my power steering, because this is the power steering line. I need a -6 welded onto there so that I can finish up my power steering with another line that comes off and goes up to here. It's a high pressure side, so we're going to have to do that. Just other little things here, guys. We'll see what we can do for this video. Maybe we might even do some drifting in this one. I don't really know. I got to find a nice spot to like do a couple slides for you guys and not get in trouble. So let's go ahead and start doing all this stuff though. It's the next day. We just got back from Make a Hose, and I got a couple things here. This is the new hose, my power steering line, my high pressure line. So this is going to be on from the pump to my line that goes to my rack. I had a -6 brazed onto it, so I still have my sensor spot and everything there. This is the -10 fitting that we're going to be putting onto the valve cover so that the valve cover stops like blowing it off all the time. And it's actually a 3/8 NPT, which is right here, the 3/8 NPT. I already threaded it. I should have did it on video, but I already threaded it and it does work. So we're going to go ahead and pop that bad boy into there. I tried to clean up the valve cover as best as I could, but it doesn't really work anymore. So I'm going to just thread that into there, put that on. I was going to try to cut this a little bit to get it to fit onto there nice and flat and snug against the valve cover, but you know, I don't really want to mess around with it too much. So we're just going to go ahead and put this thing on there, put a little RTV on there, put that into there, and then we'll take the old fitting off of the line, and then we'll screw this one onto it, and I'll have two fittings on there now so that the valve cover can breathe and it won't just be spewing stuff everywhere and it won't pop out anymore. Let's go ahead and put that on, and then we're going to put the high pressure line on the power steering pump, and then we'll wait until later on to put the line underneath the rest of the car, because that's going to take a little bit to get that back under there. So let's go ahead and do these couple things real quick. That line there is on. This is on for the valve cover. That actually looks pretty good on there, and it's nice and snug now, so that's not going to come off. The worst thing about all this is that this is so close to the manifold and there's no heat shield on it, that the back line that goes to that side of the valve cover is kind of all heated up and worn out. I will eventually need to put another line on that side, but for right now it's working and it's doing its job, so we're just going to leave it. But like I said, guys, we're going to go ahead and wait until later on to go ahead and put the rest of the power steering line under the car, and then we're going to finish all this stuff up. So let's go ahead and do some other stuff for right now. So now we have the car jacked up. We got the line underneath here. We're going to be putting this thing back under there. A little bit of a process to get this thing onto here. So you have to come underneath here, and it has to go around the back side of the oil pan back here, over the frame, over the subframe, and then back to the power steering rack. And on the other side, it has to go over the sway bar, I believe, and then come around. So it's a little bit of a hassle, but we're going to go ahead and get this thing out of here now. Let's start putting her back into there. As you can hear, the car is back on. The new high pressure line is all made. Everything's back into here. So the high pressure line is down here, runs up, goes up to the power steering. The power steering line that goes to the rack is back into there. All that's all set up. I have my nice new pulley into there, and this thing is good, guys. I'm pretty stoked that I can drive it around again now. It's been sitting for a couple days now, and I just want to keep driving it. Let's go ahead and take it out for a little rip and see what she does. The steering wheel's a little off, but that's because of my alignment. The steering is back to being good. It's a little tight here and there, but I think I just have to work it back in and get the power steering all situated again. maybe the pump has too much fluid in it or something like that. But like I said though, guys, let's go do a couple skids somewhere, and we will meet you there. So guys, this is a continuation of the video here. So we're just gonna go over a couple little things here. We're gonna talk about Chris's drift car. We're gonna talk about the 180 a little bit more. I know you guys really wanna see the drift car, so we're gonna talk about that in a minute. But right here, the rest of the stuff came out nice. No leaks afterwards. Everything works the proper way that it's supposed to. This has a little bit of a harsher kink than I would have liked, but that's okay. Stuff down there works all good. There's no more leakage down here, so that's really good for me. My power steering reservoir is probably a little high, so we're gonna have to drain some fluid out of that. And over here, this was supposed to be in the last video and it wasn't. What I have here is I have a filter on my IAC valve. This didn't used to have a filter on it, so now it does. I put that on there because it was sucking in a bunch of dust and I didn't want that. So we have to go over the car. I see a little bit of oil right here, so I have to go over that and see what's going on with that. Maybe I just have to tighten that up, or I have to make new lines or something like that. That's what that is. And yeah, guys, there's some stuff I want to do this weekend, but we'll see if it actually comes true. I need to do some more maintenance on a car, and if it prohibits me from going on a weekend, then we won't go. But let's go ahead and talk about Chris's drift car real quick. Okay guys, so as you probably saw in Chris's last video, he put up that he was fixing his drift car and that he's doing some stuff. I'm not gonna put too much out there for you guys, but the car is running and driving again. It's right here. He's got new tires on the back. I bought the new wheel for it, so the wheel is on there. This side's all set up. It's got the brand new wheel on it. The LCA is all set up. The tie rod is on there. The coilovers are in. The exhaust manifold is back together, and I got it as good as I possibly could get it. You should probably be able to see it under here if I get down there. Yep, right there. The exhaust manifold is as good as I could get it. That actually took a lot of work to get that thing back together right there. That took like half the day yesterday to put that thing there. I had to heat it up the torch, get it nice and red. I tried putting some bolts on it to get it to pull out and all that other stuff there, guys, but it's still leaking pretty bad. What happened was me and Chris went over it. We talked about it, and the parts that I put on it weren't the exact same things that were on it, but they are the same brand, just for a different model car. They worked with his exact stuff. They're still Fortune Auto coilover valve bodies and everything. It's just they are a different valve rating and stuff like that, but that all works there. To square up with Chris, since the exhaust wasn't perfect and the coilovers, the valve bodies weren't the exact ones that were for the car, we talked it out, and I gave Chris $1,000 to sum up the rest of it. I think he's going to put the other $1,000 in to get the headers for the car, because with these Vorslage headers, you can't just buy one, you have to buy both. He's going to probably get the headers for it, and I don't know if the car holds up for what he's going to do, then the coilovers are going to be sufficed for him. Me and Chris are squared with our debt and everything there, so now that car is back together. So now we should be able to do all the stuff that I need to do for my car and more. So now that this weight is lifted off of me, we're all good now, guys. So let's go ahead and do some more stuff with the 180. After we talked about the 180, we did some stuff on the 180. We talked about Chris's car. I think we talked more about the 180. Now we're going to be doing a oil change on it. Like I said before, guys, I was having oil pump problems. I'm trying to figure out how I can just prolong it just a little bit longer. I want to go to O.S.W. this weekend and go to the drift event with Chris and do all that stuff. I'm trying to prepare the 180 for that. I have to flip my front tires, and I have to get an alignment done. I have to get 4 tires for my back so I can have four drift spares. I need to also flip the back tires too, because those are pretty beat. Those were on the front, and then I flipped them to the back, and now everything's good. We're going to be doing an oil change on this thing. I might try to find a upper radiator hose before the event too. Or I might cop this one that's down here for right now. Shaw has one right here. Yeah, this one right here. Samco. So I might just pop this one on there for right now. It's blue and I don't really want blue, but I guess it would go with the Entrabay because everything, a lot of other stuff is blue. So, but I might do that. I might not. I might even just see if I could get some Samco hoses before I even go to the event, see how much they are and see if we can overnight them from Hinjuku or Turn 14 just to get those onto there, because this one's really beat, guys. This one's like very swollen up here. You can see that compared to down there, and then even compared to my lower radiator hose down there. We're going to be putting in the V1 race oil here. It's the 2050 Valvoline. We're going to see if this works a lot better. We're also going to be putting on another HKS filter right here. This is the one with the magnet in it. I've talked to you guys about this before. It's nothing special. We're just going to put another one of those on. And to be honest with you guys, I don't really even need to change this one, but since we're going to an actual drift event, we're going to change it. This one I put on 11/12, right before the last time I went to the compound, and I did a burnout on New Year's Eve, and I did a couple slides, and I've been just kind of cruising around with the car. I haven't really driven it a whole lot this year, but we're gonna change the oil filter, go through the rest of the car, get the other stuff figured out. I need to keep messing with my power steering a little bit more so that because it kind of binds up a little bit. So I need to either put more fluid in it or see what's going on with it. I have to check all my fittings and everything because like I said earlier, this one's leaking a little bit. So check these fittings, check the fuel line fittings, check the fittings on an oil cooler, check the injector clips and all this other stuff. Clean off my power steering reservoir back there. Make sure the car will pass tech and all that good stuff there, guys. So let's go ahead and jump into this oil change. The oil is in it. I put 5 quarts in it. I'll check it with a dipstick. I'm kind of trying to let this drain plug down here dry up a little bit. I put a lot of RTV around it all the time because it isn't the greatest drain plug and the oil pan's a little bit stripped. After this event, I'll probably take this drain plug out and I'll tap it to a bigger one and I'll put another magnetic drain plug in it. But this one, I tried to put a crush washer seal on it and it just like pulled the whole threads out with it. So I was like, oh, well. I put RTV on the threads of the drain plug and I put RTV all the way around it and it has a crush washer on it. So I don't really think it's gonna leak anymore, but we'll see. And I don't really have any leakage problems with it, but yeah. So we're gonna go ahead and wait for this. We're gonna let it dry a little bit more, check the oil, and move on to the next little project. I think that's about it though for this video though, guys. Heath's over here, decided to come by.
I love it.
I think we're going to do some tractor stuff for the next video, guys. That's about it, though, guys. If you guys like the video, don't forget to subscribe. Hit that like button, and we will see you guys in the next one. And a little thing, guys, just let me know in the comments what you guys really want to see, whether it's tractor, boat, truck, car, Miata. Let me know. I want to keep you guys interested. Let's just try to work with each other there and figure that out. So, later, guys.